We like pretending, and we've perfected the art of pretending. Actually, the greatest actors are not in movies, no, but friends who can actually put you to task. Unaenda kufanya.
Ulirudi home after you.
It's a very simple question, but not everyone can ask that question. You'll think everything is okay. And most cases of suicide, I think the number of suicide, the suicide rate actually is high amongst the men. We need to learn to listen without responding. Then if someone now wants help, if you can't help, you can refer them. Because sometimes you might not be the one who's supposed to even help that person. By the way, go here and explore. The problem is the repercussions, and choices have consequences.
You are watching God's Grace and Great with Salome Mumo.
Hello and welcome back. I know you've missed us. I've missed you too. Karibu sana. Today we're going to have an interesting guest. Tumeuliza tu maswali very normal but very chic. Utaona venye anakaa amazing. So I have Emmanuel with me on the show, and you're going to chambua a few things like your mental health kama boy showered. We're going to check on how you handled yourself in a field that looks as though hii haikai Christiani. We don't speak Christianese over here. So karibu sana.
Asante.
Without me saying so many things, I want you to introduce yourself and then tell us your funniest, most embarrassing memory that you have as a kid or as a grown-up. I'm both.
Greetings. My name is Emmanuel, or MC Neb. So my parents named me Emmanuel. So I think many people who are born in September wanaitwa Emmanuel. So do the math.
Yeah, like Jesus was also born in September, but anyway.
No, many people who are born in September, do your math. December babies in it. So I serve God for a living. That's what I do, depending on the assignment and season that I'm in. But tent making, I am a professional MC. Beyond that, I am a practicing psychologist. Yes, and I love God and ministry and people, ideally. My most embarrassing moment.
Yeah.
So I had just started off MCing. I was in college. I was, I think, 19, yeah? So we had this Mr. and Miss kind of event.
Ooh.
So because I wanted to show these guys that I'm up to the task, so I was changing. Every category, I go, rush, change, come introduce it, rush, change. Lo and behold, official wear. There I was, but I had forgotten to zip up. So someone in the audience was, then I'm like, thank you.
Oh boy.
Wow, guy, I'm great. Until I went backstage and I was like, oh, like it was a very embarrassing moment. But how many years later? I think 16 years later, here I am, still emceeing, and I'm glad to, just be in this space. And thank you for having me.
Karibu sana. I'm like, wow, how do you walk back?
I just went, and just like you pick up yourself and unasonga kama injili.
Injili inasonga. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Now, if you will have dinner with anyone in the Bible of your choosing, who do you think you will want to have it with, and why would you choose that person?
King Nebuchadnezzar, most definitely.
Ooh.
Yeah, King Nebuchadnezzar. Why? Because he ruled for 49 years minus 7. I know many Christians know about the fall of King Nebuchadnezzar, but he's the only king who was not replaced during his fall. So I'd like to know what that looks like, being someone who sort of is favored by God, that he'll punish you and still restore you. So I'd like to know his Damascus moment. Yeah.
Right. We were speaking about Nebuchadnezzar, and what you just said is what we've just said. Wow. I was like, wow, the spirit is moving. Now, you've mentioned that you're a professional counselor, and you also work with a lot of teenagers.
Yes.
What is this one thing that a teenager will just say and you'll know, this one is avoiding the real issue?
I think right now it's matters sexuality. I think right now we are in a season whereby many young people are struggling with identity when it comes to their sexuality. So some now are very confused because you're growing, and we have this worldly perspective of, you can explore, you can try this. So right now, one thing constantly that I know I get from the young people is the aspect of identity matters sexuality. So it's a very, very critical area, and which we actually need to have, a conversation about. So that's one area that right now, it's like a cancer eating us slowly. Yeah.
I love that you brought out that aspect. But assuming I'm a teenager, you guys tell us to be curious. Mbona mko na laini? Where is the curiosity line ending and the other one beginning?
Lakini, what did Paul say? Everything is permissible, but not everything is beneficial, right? So yes, you can explore, but also we have parameters that guide us. And sometimes exploration might lead you to something detrimental in life. You might just, because most of the times, even people who start doing drugs, it was just exploring. Nilikuwa tu najaribu. But sooner or later, this person ends up in a rehab, or no, now they're an addict. So we're not saying young people should not explore, but explore, but within the right confinements of sanity and morality.
I love that. Within the confines of sanity and morality. Whatever I do is right in my eyes. I know it's going to be judges and everyone did what was right in their own eyes. But yeah, the society is moving. I want to move. I want to be not really conform. I want to know what they're doing so that I don't do.
Well, it's a catch-22 situation whereby you can easily try and end up going, like, spiraling. But you can also be on this side, just like, okay, I know it for a fact, I won't explore because that's not my cup of tea. Yeah. But the thing is, what we're encouraging young people is, how can you just create a form of safety for yourself? Because as they say, better safe than sorry. Because ideally, you can, again, I'm not saying you should not explore. By the way, go here and explore. The problem is the repercussions, and choices have consequences. So ideally, just weigh your options to know, how will my consequences hit me? Even as you explore the different things in life. Sometimes it can be not only sexuality, it can be even academia. Maybe just like me, I don't want to study, I want to do fashion and design. Yeah. Easy. Do we have people who are in that field and they've thrived? Yes. Probably. Do we have some of them who've struggled year in, year out? So it cuts across. So go here and explore, but again, within confines. And don't define your own concept of sanity and morality.
I love that. Yeah. So who defines it for us?
As believers, for us, we know we have the manual, but also as citizens of a great nation like Kenya, we have our constitution, which again has parameters of things which are acceptable and some things which are unacceptable. For instance, if someone came here right now, as we are shooting, and they start maybe beating our director there, obviously they'll say, mi alikuwa na deni yangu nikasema ndamchapa. But you see, under the confines of law, he should go and report. Then the police will summon our director. There's a process. So ideally, yes, we can do things, but beyond the church setting, when now we come to a nation, there's something that governs, and that is the constitution. So morality is, it is within the confines of different things that are stipulated. So in the government side, they have the government. In the church, we have doctrine, we have the word of God. Yeah.
I love that. Being in the kingdom, and part of the kingdom should be able to govern you, because you have a constitution at the end of the day. Now, being an MC, you make us laugh a lot. An event should be good. If an MC is good, you should not be bored in that event.
Yeah, it depends. Kuna wasa wameboeka tu naturally anyway.
Okay, tuachane na how. The normal people, the normal human beings who are happy.
I'm glad you said they are abnormal.
I'm like, those are not my words.
Not my words.
Okay, they are, but... When we laugh about some things, and at that time, it's all fun, it's all jokes, But behind a lot of laughs are hearts. And as a counselor, you know that not all smiles are, they are not genuine, they're not real, they're kind of plastic. And we've had a lot of cases, someone was okay, but suicide. Someone was okay, but I don't know what happened. What do you think brings about that?
I think we like pretending, and we've perfected the art of pretending. Actually, the greatest actors are not in movies. No. Some of the greatest actors are your neighbors, your churchmates, because they put up a face, a facade, just to show that they're okay. And behind those smiles, for a fact, as you've said, people are hurting. Some have been heartbroken. Some are wondering, where will I get the next meal? And the different challenges of life make us think a lot. But because sometimes also we don't trust people, we just put up a smile for the sake of, same concept, like, how are you? Fine.
I'm fine.
How are you? I'm fine. Personally, I tweak that a little bit. I don't say hi to people like that. Hi, I'll ask you what's good about life. If you maybe stutter and start wondering, I'll be like, what's not good about life? So from that concept, I'll get to pick something positive or negative that is happening. But not everyone is a psychologist like I am. So we don't trust people even to share what we are going through. And cuts across everywhere, in the workspace, in the church, at home. You've gone for a family gathering and people know you as the strongest person. And not even to mention now the men, because the men have perfected the art. For women, sometimes you can look sad. Like when you're sad, you can look sad.
Intentionally.
Yeah. Even
So
when
that you ask me
you're trying
what's
to,
up.
even when you're just trying to put a smile, but we can tell, hey, uya yuko sawa. But for a man will just have a straight, serious face. He'll think everything is okay. And most cases of suicide, I think the number of suicide, the suicide rate actually is high amongst the men, than women, because women talk, so behind those smiles, people are going through it. But because of lack of trust and fear also of speaking up, because again, there's gossip in the settings that we are in. So I can come and share with you, maybe I've gone through a heartbreak. Then the next minute, I meet someone at the gate, Guy, Usha Hill.
You're like, how did you know?
You know, and even that's why we're also encouraging people to go for counseling. And I know our pastors are gifted, some of them, but if you've not done a proper counseling course as a pastor, we encourage, or a church leader, lead your congregants to counseling because of confidentiality. Sometimes you've shared something with your man of God and the next minute, ako pale unasikia, and some of us have struggles. Yeah? Like the other day, a sister came to me, and some of you are being beaten by your husbands. You're just there, you're just like, Pastor.
How could you?
So I think those are some of the things that now the fear and now the effect of us sharing makes us be afraid and just fake these smiles.
I like that, but how can we help? How can I help? I am dating, say for example, and I know that my man is passing through a particular issue. Counseling is not cheap and it's not free. It shouldn't be, at least. Because mumesomea na mumeifanya. But how can I help in my own capacity as a non-counselor?
Okay. I think the basic thing is listening. One of the greatest need of human beings is being listened to. And not listening to respond. Just listening. If, let's say, and in relationships, it's the men who are suffering, unfortunately, because a man will come and share something and it might be or will be used against him at some point. Yeah, because maybe someone has just shared about, let's say, how lack of finances makes him feel. Because we have people who, when they are not financially stable, they behave in a certain way, especially men, I know, the provision aspect. So when this man now feels like this lady that I have does not acknowledge what I told her about my finances and how I feel about it, So maybe he'll come and say, "Bede, yes, vitu haziendi poa nini na nini." So listening without giving a solution is very critical.
Without giving a solution?
True, because sometimes you'll give a solution that can't help the situation. Unless you're giving that person money.
Okay.
And how many babes will give a man money? You know, hey, he's the provider. Hey, ajipange. Hey,
Yangu ni-
yangu ni yako ni yetu, yangu ni yangu. You know, and it's not just about money. Something else. Maybe he might be stressed at work.
Yeah.
Maybe he's being bullied at work. The bosses are doing a few things here and there, and he just comes and shares. And again, also vice versa. As a gentleman, maybe your girlfriend, your better half, your girlfriend, your fiancé, name it, shares with you, or even a friend who's just of the opposite sex, they share with you something, and you're quick to respond. You're just waiting. So, nilijua, si nilikwambia hiyo kazi, hiyo place mmekwambia mara ngapi hiyo job hiyo uko. So again, we need to learn to listen without responding. Then if someone now wants help, if you can't help, you can refer them. Because sometimes you might not be the one who's supposed to even help that person. Like right now, a friend might be in between jobs. They tell me, I'm out of job, but maybe I know someone who is in that line. Then I'll be like, okay, if you don't mind, could you send me your CV? We explore this option. You see, I'm offering assistance, but through someone else. I'm not the one now to be like, nitakuangalilia mahali. Umeteseka sana.
Ile anko anakuambia nitumie CV.
6 years later, kuna wenye waliambiwa hivyo. So I'll see what I can do. They are still seeing what they can do. So ideally, we just need to be there for people. Yes. And also, be real. Who are the people around you? For instance, I think personally what I've done, I'm very intentional with friendships. Very intentional. And I have so many friend groups. Because I know that's how friendship thrives. In groups.
I love that.
Yes, because individual friendships might struggle, especially when there's a strain.
Yeah.
It's very hard to solve a domain between the two of us. But if we're in a friend group, in that friend group we have a voice of reason, maybe. Someone who can help us understand each other easily. So I think also having intentional friendships and relationships generally. If some of us, maybe you've decided it's me and my family, so ensure you're very intentional. Some of us, we are not friends with our siblings and all that. Actually, our neighbors are more family than
Friends who became family.
And it happens. So we need to be very intentional with that aspect so that we can also get to help other people. Because when I learn about something, maybe I can pick it because I know you. You won't have to be sad for me to know. You won't have to pretend like, hey, you just come, mko tu hivi unakaa hivi unaangalia miti. I'll just be like, hauko sawa.
Something's up.
And we have such friends. So, but we need to be intentional to give them power, to also allow them to ask us the hard questions.
You just answered, like before they asked, I answered. Because my next will be, what do you mean by being intentional? And it's giving them that power to be able to tell you that, maybe hauko sawa, let's talk about this.
And having people who get to not bully you in a bad way, but friends who can actually put you to task. Unaenda kufanya.
Ulirudi home after hiyo.
It's a very simple question, but not everyone can ask that question. Unaniuliza kaa nani? But when someone is intentional, like right now, I'll tell you for a fact, I'm from church. Everyone knows where I'm at. My friends, they know he's gone to this space to shoot. They know. You see, hata lunch sikukula niwaambia ni bebeni yangu niekeni because nataka niende nikiwa kwanza So you see, not because ati lazima niwaambie manini, but it's that intentionality. So if something happens to me, if let's say I go back na nakaa niko sad, watakuwa concerned, kwani mlikuwa mnaongelelea grief? If I go back and I'm not okay, they'll be like, umetoka hapa na furaha mingi sana. So ideally, we just need to be very intentional and open. So give that person, your friend, your better half, your spouse, some of us are married, you know, and you live like it's Boko Haram in your house. Even your wife doesn't know where you are from, even where you are going, narudi. Naenda nakuja. Eh? So she's there, she's wondering, so, utakuwa na nani huko? Nani mwingine anakuja? Wacha maswali. You know, so ideally it cuts across. So let's be intentional with the relationships and give the other person the power to ask. Yeah.
I've loved that. So you've told us, if you're ever going to pass through this life and do it successfully, have intentionality in all that you're doing.
Yeah.
Listen to your partner vizuri.
Yeah.
Listen but don't judge. Okay,
Yeah.
you can judge because you've been given the power to. Kwa sababu pia nafaa ruffle leaves kidogo.
Yeah, Matthew 7:7. Matthew 7, gani ndio ya judging?
Judge not and you shall not be you should judge not and you will not be judged.
Najua moja ni 7 gani, kuna ask seek knock na kuna ya judge not. Ziko hapo kwa 7 zote.
Ziko pamoja.
We shall clarify. Yeah, ndio mseme misquote the word.
You've talked about something, wounds. I would want to explore on. Yes, I found myself like that. You know, right now we are misusing the. But then you know, I passed through trauma as a child. And as you wongo, and I am not demeaning that people actually pass through stuff.
Yeah.
But then where is that line? Where are we supposed to say, so I passed through this, but now I should do something about it?
I think it takes a lot of self-awareness to get to that point. And unfortunately, many people thrive in their traumas.
Right.
So it's like you're happy that you went through it. But the attitude should be like, I went through it, I am no longer existing in that reality. And that's where help starts from. Even in therapy, when maybe clients will come and you explore, maybe someone went through a very traumatic experience, and trauma has a different effect on different people. You being beaten, maybe as a young child, one day, and it's still, najua, iko hapo imekwa wewe kwa memory yako. Vis-a-vis someone else who was maybe sexually abused, it might have the same effect, but the response to it. Because someone, let's say, who was sexually abused at a young age, you can't just tell them, wewe una identify na trauma yako. No, it's heavy. It might take a lifetime for this person to forget, because sometimes forgetting is hard.
It's hard.
And the moment you want to know you are going through, like there's a trauma in your life, is the triggers, the things that trigger you. They're a constant reminder that you've not dealt with
what you passed through.
Sometimes we think we've dealt with it. I mean, confusing.
And then someone says something and you're...
I'll give an example. The other day there's a documentary someone recommended, you know, and 7 minutes into it, I could not watch. I was overwhelmed because it took me back to a time in my life where I was going through it. I couldn't. Mind you, I am a therapist. I go for supervision. Currently I'm doing my personal therapy as well. But if myself as a therapist, I was overwhelmed like that because of a small thing. I just saw a scene and it literally took me back. And it started replaying my mood, like nilienda tu, nose dive. But I had to remind myself, no. Like this won't alter everything. So first thing, I had to leave the house because lazima ujitoe kwa hiyo space.
Yeah.
You have to do something else.
Leave the house.
You know? So again, some of us also, we've gone through trauma and we don't know. So you went through something, so it was normal, but it was a very traumatic experience. You see, for instance, you witness your parent maybe dying. Some people will just be like, alikuwa nasafa, so thank God, you know, and all that. But that's a very traumatic experience to you. And until maybe you have an interaction that will, najua, poke that, then you're like, oh, I can't visit someone in an hospital. You pass by an hospital, you're like, oh my God, you remember. So some of us, we have these things. So ideally what we should do is, for those of us who've known they have these traumas, or some of us assume we have traumas, it's good to go and have a sit down with a professional. We have a therapist who have specialized in that, like trauma counseling and processing that, and you can be helped. Some of us, we are maybe, let's say, like, maybe you're a police officer and you went, you know, we had that attack. When the other police were killed, like many of them. So imagine you survive such an attack. There's trauma. And some of the people actually now suffer from PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, because the events replay.
Yeah.
So unaweza kumeka hivi, unaanza kutafuta gun, like no, hakuna attack, it's your mind playing you. So I'd urge anyone out there to go and seek for help. And also, if you know someone who went through such a thing, you can encourage them. You can listen, but kuna ile limit. Hauwezi saidia huyu mtu beyond this. Yeah, and again, trauma response is different. Saizi hata hapa kitu ikifanyika, venye wewe utareact na mimi ni tofauti. You see? Kuna sasa tunaweza kuwa tunaongeleshwa, tunapatiwa hand signal. Na wapigia naambia nilifika Buruburu salama.
I am safe. I am safe.
So you guys are okay? You know, and maybe it's because I've been in a situation where something happened and just like, so it's very critical for us to explore.
Yeah. I love that. It's deal with it, but you have to be aware that it exists.
Yeah.
And if you're not, seek help. Tafuta msaada. It is there. Tumeongelea kuhusu a lot of men. The reason why they're passing through this is because, for lack of a better word, the personality or the masculinity, not masculinity that is in them, but their way of behaving. If you're talking about women, I know we talk a lot. I know we share this and that and the other, but there have been a lot of issues on femicides. And femicides are killings by, at most, a lot of people that you know. How do you avoid being in such areas, and how should we help people when you're koko? Because I'm like, sasa ulijipata uko kitu.
Okay, I think two things. On one side, I'll focus on the men. So men, learn how to take a no. Kula L na usonge. Because sometimes men feel like I've invested a lot. You see, and many people don't know how to deal with rejection. And these people who find themselves in this situation is because I've invested a lot in this woman with very high hopes. And again, sometimes you need to communicate. Let's know what's going on. Because if you send a lady pleasantries, unamtumia flowers, sasa atakata. Hatakata brother. Umembaya keki. Wewe hata wewe brother ukibewa keki utakuwa. You know? Yeah. So we need to be like communicate. Yeah. So that goes to the men. Let's learn to take no for an answer. Yeah. And also, let's not be deceived by the worldly perspective of what masculinity is. Masculinity is not tied to finances. No. But because of that investment and the value men have put in money, that's why some of them, because maybe I've bought you a car, then uko like, mimi sikutaki nataka huyu, uko like, hey, na venye niliku. You know, there's that. That goes to the gentlemen. Now, to our sisters, the ladies, let's be careful. I usually say, avoid, at all costs, avoid a man's house if he's not your husband. Because you're in a different territory. You see, if you come to my house, I know where everything is at.
Yep.
Kama ni visu, mimi najua mahali ziko. Nikifunga gate yangu, ni mimi najua kufungua. You get? So just try as a lady as much as you can. Again, better safe than sorry. If this person wants to, kuko na so many nice fancy restaurants where you can go, have a good time, utritiwe, but please, ati sijui ndakupikia lini. Utapikwa.
So, the last question. If Emmanuel was to drop down dead today, what's that one thing you would want us to remember about you, or about your life, or about Christ in you?
I think if I was to die today, number one, I'll be a very happy man because I live up every day. I live up just to ensure that I fulfill my purpose. One thing that I know for a fact people will remember me for is being there for people and taking care of people. I think that's one thing I know I'll be remembered for. What I'd want to be remembered for now.
You're like, this I know.
Yeah, this I know. I'd like to be remembered as someone who encouraged everyone who's ever interacted with me, either physically or even online, just to encourage them to mind their minds. Someone who encouraged people to live up their best lives. I usually say, I know I am a self-esteem ambassador. I encourage people to have, self-esteem, which in turn will help you, take care of your mind. Yeah.
I'm curious, is MC Neb because of your favorite character, Nebuchadnezzar?
Yep.
That's
Yeah,
interesting.
King Nebuchadnezzar. 21 years of calling myself that now.
Interesting. Oh, I love that. Mumeskia. So how is your life? What's good about life, or what's not good about life? Thank you so much for honoring us with your presence. I've gotten so many nuggets, but I think the most important thing that you said is learn to listen without necessarily giving a solution, because to girls that's like a foreign concept. We'll try to live up to that expectation. And thank you, our viewer. It's always in an effort to make you understand that it's not about us, it's not about God, and you can't do this alone, by the way. Yes, there are counselors, but it all starts with your walk with Christ. Have you accepted Jesus Christ as your personal Lord and Savior? It's a cliche, but is He ruling over you and over your thoughts? Remember, mind your mind. Kwa sababu tunahitaji to walk this walk of faith and persevere until the end. So again, thank you so much. Nimeshukuru. I've enjoyed this. I've taken away my own portion. I hope you have too. Kwaheri. See you next time.
You are watching God's Grace in Greet with Salome Mumo.